Hello, everyone. It's Yogi here. I hope you're well. It's good evening from London, and good morning or good afternoon to all of you and wherever you are. So, today we're here to do a spot of stitching. I hope you're ready. I am certainly ready. And today, this is the piece I'm going to be working on. So this is a 14 count stitching kit I bought maybe close to 3 years ago, something like that. I bought this kit from Amazon and been working on it kind of on and off ever since. And I absolutely love this piece. It's called Granny's Craft Room. And you know what? I've just recently, very recently learned from River, one of our regulars, and it's an artwork, a piece of artwork from an artist called Steve Reed, if I'm correct, pronounce it correctly. So this is the markup here. It's adorable. Look at this. This is my ideal craft room, definitely one of my dream craft room there. And it's got a view to the outside, a room with a view, and a little kitten on the windowsill. It just cannot be more cozy and comforting. And I absolutely adore it. And for some reason, I just couldn't find the name of the artist until recently. Just a few days ago, really. I got a comment from River, and she said, well, this is a guy from Steve Reed. It's from an artist called Steve Reed, and I did a quick search. Not a lot came up, not very many pieces from this artist, but there are a couple of them I found I absolutely love them. I might try to get the patterns if I can find them. So this piece I've been working on, let me just switch back here. This is a 14 count Ada, and 2/1 full cross. So this is one of those pieces that really works well with larger stitches, and you can tell there's a lot of details emerging here. So I am going to track this piece with Pattern Keeper. If you've been following me working on this piece before, you will know that, because these kits came with paper patterns. Okay, so what I did was I scanned the paper patterns and imported them onto Markup RXP. So it's not ideal, but for me it was better than working on paper pattern, physical paper patterns. So I've been working with using Markup RXP to track this piece, but with difficulties, with challenges, because this is scanned piece, and also it's got back stitches. So I'm not done, I'm not done with this piece yet. There will be back stitches when I'm ready to apply them, and the whole design will pop out so much more. But few days ago, maybe just a week ago, I got hold of the company that put this pack together, and just casually asked them, well, by any chance you've got a digital copy that you could spare or sell it to me or whatever. And lo and behold, I totally expect them to come back and go, well, we no longer have this pattern, because currently this kit is not on their in their catalog. And also I was expecting them to charge me. They did neither. They came back to me. They literally just sent the pattern to me digitally. So now I have it on my Pattern Keeper. I mean, I can't believe it's happening. So this is what I've been dreaming of, to have digital copy of the pattern. And also the great thing about a digital copy is you do not see the overlying back stitches, the symbols on top of it. It had been very difficult because the paper pattern has got big thick lines on top of the patterns. They're really difficult. But with PDF, they remove all the big lines, and I can see the symbols really clearly there. It's just beautiful. It's a dream come true. So this is where I am right now in terms of the full page. let me zoom out way back. So this is the entirety of the page. It's not as big as maybe a regular size of Heaven and Earth, slightly smaller, but still quite a few pages involved. And I started from the center because I couldn't wait, to get to a kitty. So I did a kitty start without knowing it. So I'm probably the pioneer of kitty start, okay, everyone? And you can copy it. I'm not, no copyright there. You can do a kitty start there. And so I follow the pages because of the restriction of the markup IXP, and also because the patterns are scanned in. I've been working page by page. So this top part, just above the drawers here, contains 2 pages. So I've completed 2 pages. And then I proceeded to move down to try to complete the bottom 2. Okay, so this is where I am with the 3rd page and a little bit of a 4th page on the right there. And you can tell that I've removed the page borders here. I am so free. I don't have to, follow the page borders anymore. So I'm so happy. And so today, I'm changing my plans a little bit because the last session I made some changes in terms of the way I'm stitching, and today, I'm going to change again. This is just the way it works, okay? I'm going to do whatever I want. And there are some diagonal lines there. I probably give you some hint there, but we'll come back to it. I just want to quickly show you where I am in terms of percentage, and it's so great to be able to see it clearly. So currently I'm about 10%, which is not bad at all. And then today, of course, I'm going to start from 0, okay? And so this is where I am today with this piece. I am so happy because the whole piece feels differently when you have a good app that you can track and digital copy of the pattern. So I'm really happy. Before I go into how I'm going to stitch this piece, I'm going to turn to the chat. Okay, I'm going to see who I have got with me in the chat today. Rajal. Yes, model student is Rajal today. She says, happy Friday, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever it is. Indeed, happy stitching, she says. And Busy Mom is here as well. Hello, this is Friday. Are you able to play with us, or are you still at work? If you are, it won't be long. It's a Friday after all. And Maltese Stitcher, she says, hello everyone, finally found the time to join you guys and stitch. Indeed, Maltese Stitcher, as it says on the tin, she's from Malta. And Sarah is here. Hello, our princess. And Michelle Brown says, howdy. Janelle waking up in Australia the following day. So it's Saturday for Janelle. Yeah, Saturday already. And she can play with us for a little bit, I hope. Brittany is here as well. She says, hi everyone. Heather House is also here as well. Leslie in the chat, and Susan Chamberlain is also here with us, and Suzanne, of course, our Suzanne is here as well, and Carla Hill, she says hello stitchy friends, and Senga, it's been a little while, Senga, good to see you, and Jane Doll is also in the chat, and Anna Nystrom says hello. Betty Hankins and Nikki, our Nikki is here, Nikki Stitchy, and Alison Rennies, happy Friday, she says, and Wendy 2025, as young as usual, welcome. And Nina Hobbyside, hello. And Terry Dogs is also in the chat, and Andrea Skull Candish, I butchered that completely. What a great start. She says, watching from work, no bosses today, wonderful. And if the bosses, like trying to peek through what you're watching, just give me a little wave. I'll turn this broadcast into BBC World, okay? And there would be no suspicions there. And Aim Pepping is there as well in the chat. Welcome, everyone. So, this piece, if you've been following me on this piece, I've been working with Gemma's method, okay? So, easing away from the stitches. And if you're interested in Gemma's method, today is a good one to watch, okay? So But last week, I decided I was going to work off the parking thread, maybe move away from Gemma Stitches method. But you know what? The reason I did that was the pattern was very hard to work with, crossing 2 pages. So the bottom part of this bit, let me just bring up what the whole piece looks like on my fabric. I actually took a photo before I framed it for the last session. Okay, so I've got a little bit sticking out at the bottom there from the last session, but generally it looks pretty much there. This is the completed area. So the top bit I work from one page to the other, but the bottom 2 pages I decided to work on them together. And it was very difficult to do with markup IXP because I have to switch from one page on the left and switch to the other one on the right, try to maintain that diagonal line. It was very challenging. So I got fed up last session and decided I'm going to just work on one page and just, remove the parking and moved away from Gemma's stitches. But guys, today I'm back. Gemma is back. Yay! Gemma is back because now I can work on these 2 pages together and just forget about the page borders and just work normally, okay, like a normal person, and following Gemma's method. For some reason, this piece, at least for these 2 pages, they're just calling me. They're just telling me to work following Gemma's method. It just feels right, okay? So I'm following my body, following my breath, just like in yoga. And I'm going to come back to Gemma's method. I think it's wonderful. So that's why you're seeing those diagonal lines there. I just need them for now as a guidance in order to bring this piece back on track and to follow that diagonal line as much as I can. Okay, so this is the plan today. It's going to be a nice, relaxing, as I said earlier on, if you've been struggling with Gemma's method, this is a good one to watch, because I'm not saying that I'm as, fast or efficient as Gemma, but I've been working on with this method for a little bit. So it might help you if you are wondering why it doesn't flow for you. And I'll talk a little bit as I walk through. There are certain rules that you follow. Once you get your head around, it's actually a beautiful way of working. So, I am so happy. So today, it's been a kind of busy day because Friday cross over to the entire weekend normally is a busy time for yoga teachers. So, but it's good fun. It's good fun. And I managed to sneak in the sauna a little bit. I love sauna. Oh, I love sweating. And so I'm feeling good, feeling really good. So I am going to actually pick, start from the bottom left there. As I said, I'm going to follow the app and, bring the outlines here a little bit more diagonal. And then I might move up to the upper right a little bit and start to fill it in. So 1 stitch at a time. That's all that is. All that is. So Busy Mom says, I'm actually took today off, but I'm sewing instead of stitching. How amazing. So you're going to have a long weekend. Yay. Wonderful. And let's have a look. So my first victim I'm going to pick. So the floss actually came with a kit. Okay, so these are DMC equivalent. I believe they're Egyptian cotton or something like that. It's a category of floss. It's quite nice to stitch. It's a color-wise, it's a bit more matte. Okay, but otherwise it's just really nice. No issues with them at all. And they're, they provide really good coverage and nice volume for chunky stitches like 14 counts. I love it. So from here, I'm going to move this over there a little bit. It's just beautiful. I'm so happy now I have a digital copy. It just feels like the world is open again. So I'm going to just go in and fill in these naughty stitches that I left over from last session, because last session I was just doing kind of mini cross country a little bit. So I'm gonna fix this and then proceed to start filling this line there. So this is my plan today. And let's have a look. I'll try to follow the chat as much as I can. So, but first of all, I am going to pick my first color there. A14, A14. So some focus is required as I'm warming up. The first few stitches, you know, just allow the fingers, the body to slowly warm up. Let me find a friendly needle. Sometimes the needles fight you. And I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. So I'm going to find a friendly needle for me. Betty Lou Taylor is here. Hello, Betty. Welcome. Right. Good. Let's go. And today I'm having my peppermint tea, and I think peppermint tea is probably the best for me. With my stitching session the other day, I tried this tea from Puka Paka. It's a tea called Love, and it was just too relaxed. I'm surprised I was still awake at the end of the session. It's got lavender and stuff like that, chamomile. And it's just, there is such a thing as being too relaxed. So peppermint tea is just right. And I've got a little bit of cold coffee as well, which I love. Left over from earlier on. I'm going to sip from time to time. Just enjoy the flavors. So I'm going to fill up these stitches. Oh, you're so good to stitch this piece. I love it. And I'm going to park it. Oh, actually, I'm going to do this one on the left here because it's attached to the edges. And if you're not familiar with Gemma stitches, it's a method pioneered by Gemma. She's got a YouTube channel, if you don't know already. I think majority of the chat probably, or people watching probably, are aware of Gemma. She's been around doing floss tubing for many years, and I've been following her for many years. And she pioneered this method, very, very unique, and basically easing away from the edges without creating any floating stitches. So no stitches like this. I'm breaking rules everywhere, but I'm gonna fix it and pretend they never happened. Okay, Gemma, don't judge me. It happens. And I personally just blame the pattern, the paper pattern, okay? That's the story I'm sticking to, but I'm going to bring the project back on track. A38, A38. Very nice, very nice. Or someone is starting a new pattern, a new project or something like that. You can always tell people going, I want to start. And River is here. Hello, River. Hello, hello. So River was the person that shared a name of the artist with me the other day. I'm really happy to figure it out because the name has been mentioned. It's such a beautiful piece. How can I possibly not know who created it? And he's got another piece called Cats and Gardens or something like that. I'm definitely getting that one. It's so gorgeous. Oops. Just bring it a little bit closer here. I'm warming up, guys. I'm warming up. And let me know what you're working on with me today. It's a Friday, so what is your Friday project? Let me just quickly bury these stitches. So no one will notice. And let's see if I can park it somewhere. Yes, I can. So I am going to bring it down. There's already one there already. So I am going to keep it simple. I'm going to end this thread here. Okay. So yesterday, if you're here, you probably noticed the project had a lot of park threads. With Gemma's method, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think when you do block by block, you probably end up with more part threads. But this method, you know, quite manageable, quite manageable. A38, A38, I'm going to park it back. Let me take a sip of my tea here while it's still warm. Patricia is here. Hello, hello. Carla Hill is here as well. I think Carla is in South Africa, isn't it? Yeah, I think remember talked about the time zone. Very nice. We've got people from all over the world gathering here. And let me patch these two as well, might as well, before we start the Gemma's method. There's one there. And what is this one? I'm trying to see one to the right. That one. Okay. So with the scanned version of my pattern, the issue was the pattern itself have a lot of lines overlay with the back stitches and you can't separate them. So even though I can't really blame Markup IXP for it, it's just the fact that AB could not recognize what they were because of overlapping. So a lot of symbols not being picked up and I had to manually pick them up, and it's a messy process. So I'm glad I'm free from that, and that applies to all the other 14 count kits I have as well. So I'm very, very happy. 720. And guys, just in case you don't know already, from next week we're officially moving into September, right? And from next Tuesday we're going to start our Halloween stitching, and we have a pattern chosen by the group, the Facebook group. So I'm going to show you what it looks like if you haven't seen it. And not this one, mock up here. So it's a simple pattern. It's really cute though. It's partially covered because I didn't want to have sort of really large project. I just think we've got so much going on, all the sales and everything, and just something fun to stitch on the side. So we asked everybody to suggest, and one of, you know, this is one of the suggestions, I think was by Steve, and everybody seemed to like it. It's got most likes, and so we decided to go for this one. So if you want to join us, I can post a link to the pattern right now, actually. Hang on, let me just find it. So you can download it. I think they're doing a sale today again. I don't know, it's a random. It's from Etsy, okay? And so I just posted this link here. Let me pin it, might as well. And so you can find a link on the Facebook group as well, but I just posted here if you want to join us. So next week, we're going to, Tuesday, we're going to get together and start our Halloween sale together. And it will be nice, you know, change of pace for all the large projects, and just spend one day, maybe a week up to Halloween. You know, maybe some of us can actually finish it. And it would be quite nice just to enjoy the build up to Halloween. And of course, you can bring your own project as well. You don't have to do this piece if it is not for you. You can just bring whatever you like and just, you know, and share what you're doing there. You'll be good fun. Good fun. So this will mark the beginning of our festive stitching, you know, all the way up to Christmas. We're going to have another saw for Christmas as well once we end the Halloween. So, and there's another one over here. Might as well stitch that. Marilyn, welcome. Marilyn says, working on the Lucas S lavender felt kit. Lucas S is really good company as well. A lot of beautiful patterns. Let's see. Sorry if I haven't said hello to you. I will get to it. Let me just end this one. So there's one more stitch here for me to patch up, and then I'm good to go. $7.20. Bring my little cat down here. Susan says, Susan Chamberlain, long dog, the house of fun, drinking coffee, very nice. And Nina Hobbyside says, I'm stitching on Christmas project. Oh, some of you already started. And glass of jar of pain-free, a glass jar, that's the name of it. As the title, from Pain Free Crafts. And I just recently learned they're actually Scottish in the UK, and there's a physical shop as well. How amazing. I might visit Scotland just to visit the shop. It's like landmark for me. I've never seen a cross-stitch shop here in London. Never seen one. Normally it's kind of part of everything else, like craft shop, haberdashery, you know, type of places. Wow, amazing. And River is working on Gnome Tinker. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a beautiful piece. It's not something I can stitch because it's a person. I know it's a gnome, it's not a real person, but it's like a human figure. So it's not something that I would stitch myself, but it's really beautiful to look at. And she says, can't seem to put this one down. I'm loving it. It's beautiful. It's very moody as well, isn't it? The color scheme. The tone is very, very moody. Beautiful. So now I am going to move on. I'm going to leave that little stitch there when I get to it. It's okay. I just want to get on with the smoothing out this line here. So Gemma's method, generally you follow the diagonal line there, use that as a guiding line, but very loosely. So this is not a hard stop type of diagonal stitching. Some of you do maybe strip by strip. This is really just easing away from the stitch area, and you know, just it's like a strategy game, if you know what I mean. And gradually filling up the stitches. And the beauty of this method is you do not let me just count the stitches here for now. 1, 2, 3, that's correct. And there's 5. Okay, the beauty of this method is if you do not like this, you know, no one likes this, like this ninja stitches just ambushing you at the end. You know, you think you've done with everything and you have to go back and fill them in. And also, that's one element, but also the other element is the stitching experience. Some people do not enjoy the stitching, you know, what it feels like stitching someone, stitches that's kind of boxed in, because sometimes you can feel quite tight because you have surrounding stitches here. So, you know, these are sort of, you know, maybe some of the reasons you might want to try this method. And also it's very neat because you're easing away from the edges. You're not pushing, you know, try to jam your needles into all the stitches. So the thread, I think, come out quite nice and neat, even for me. And it's particularly probably more noticeable if you're stitching something like 14 counts. I think if you're doing a single strand, not so much. I wouldn't use this method for any count that is over 22 or even 20, to be honest. I think this is just one of the methods that, you know, you really enjoy the benefit on lower count stitches. So I'm gonna fill these one in here. And I think this is one of the reasons, if I remember correctly from Gemma's videos, you know, when I first learned this method or tried to learn this method, I was watching every move she makes on her videos, because this is not something that you can just go, well, just do this and that and the other. You come across different situations, different combination of stitches, and you need to get your head around. And this is, I think, most of the time when people run into, you know, challenges. So from here, at this point, I'm still trying to fix the diagonal line, because you can tell that it's kind of going off that shape quite a lot. But generally, you want to see this invisible diagonal line. I've got it on my pattern, but I'm not on my fabric. So I want to kind of follow this diagonal direction and pick the next spot to park. So for me, it will be here somewhere. And it doesn't have to be precise. It's more about following the direction. It's almost like a wave you're trying to create there. It's not about precision. And that's what I love about this method. So let me park it here. Oh, so wonderful. Can just double tap and I park. You know, with markup IXP, I have to press and hold for about 5 minutes before the pop-up will come up, and I have to pick the corners like where I want to park. All of that is behind me. Sorry, markup IXP, bye-bye. So, very happy with this. And oh, Lorraine is here. Hello. Lorraine is working on dry flowers. Beautiful piece. Beautiful piece. And Suzanne, of course, I've seen your docking board. You posted on Facebook. That is very clever. What is that board underneath there? It looks almost like a chopping board, but I know it's not a chopping board. It's got a little handle on it, Suzanne. That's very cute. And what Suzanne does was, because with my needle board, I actually use a felt-based iron board, and I kind of stick labels on it to dock my needles. If you don't know what I mean, let me just quickly show you in case there's some new viewers here. Never seen it before. Let me see if I can find a small one to show you. It's probably easier to show. So it's something along this line. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, brace yourself. It's a little bit chaotic, but everything's in order. Trust me. So this is a kind of 10 by 10 inch ironing board. So if I flip over, it's literally an ironing board. You see, the really lightweight felt based, very good for steam ironing. And I just use it as a, you know, some people use foam, and that's perfectly fine. All we're trying to do is find the material that we can dock the needles on top. So it's quick access. You know, if I can just follow the numbers here and just pick the needle, I can start stitching. So this is for my Gecko Rouge project, which only has 149 colors, and they follow the number from 1 to 145. They're not using DMC, that's why it's numbered this way. But these are single and some 2 strands here, because I'm transitioned into half stitches. But doesn't matter what it is, all you do is you just lightly dock your needles based on the color so you know what it is, and then just leave it there until next time. You just pick it up gently and then stitch and pop it back. So you don't, you know, it saves a lot of threading, and also looking for the colors. You know, if you have organizer, you have to, you know, look through them. Doesn't matter. It depends on what system you have. So this is a needle board. So what Suzanne did was she used the material at the back. Let me see if she has provided answers there, and she just placed a printout of the DMC colors with swatches on top, and she literally just, if I'm let me know if it's correct, she placed a sheet of paper on top the surface and just stab the needle through the paper, because all you need to do is what that needle, what that color is. That's the only purpose. So you can practically use any kind of material or labeling. I really like that. It's a bit less labor intensive, because with mine I had to, you know, now I have a printout version, but I had to write the numbers individually, which is a little bit more work. So if you just want something light and simple, you can just place a, you know, sheet of paper on top of the surface and stab the needle through and dock it there. Oh, Suzanne says it's the same kind of material as maybe camping mat. I don't know what camping mat is. You can tell I don't do camping. Outdoor is like, you know, try to explore alien, you know, territory. And she says they're used to sit on outside, keep your booty from getting damp or cold. Oh, okay, I get an idea. Like a foamy, waterproof kind of material. And she said they're pretty cheap and easy to get, and it's laminated too. Very nice. Very nice. So yes, it's kind of similar concept. All we're trying to do is to be, we just want to pop our needle somewhere that we know what the number or color is, and we can have a quick access. It's a game changer, particularly if you have stitching something that's a lot of confetti. You just need to change the colors constantly, and it's really quick, really nice. So I love what Suzanne did there. So here, let me have a look here. Let me see if I've got this color, because not all of them are marked properly, not all the parts thread. So I need to fix them, update them. And let me have a look here. Let me just get all my part threads marked. So that one is there. That one is there. The one underneath. And there's one on the left here. 1, 2, 3. Good. So I'm going to start from this one here. I still can't believe I've got a digital copy of this pattern. It's like, oh, what a relief. Oh, Marilyn says, yes, the question to River about the name of this artist, it's called Stephen Reed. So it's quite an unassuming name, and as far as I googled, I couldn't find that much about the artist. It's a British artist, but not much about him is on. Ooh, I just did a cross country. Goodness, I forgot what I'm doing. Just keep talking and start stitching. Oh, never mind. Let me just do this one. I totally lost my plot there. Just start cross country. Nikki, it's your fault. I've been doing so much cross country. And I just started stitching there. No, I'm doing Gemma. I'm doing Gemma, okay? Follow the rules. Follow the rules. That's what we're doing here. So I'm going to find the next spot to dock it. So this method, very often you would have multiple threads of the same color. Okay, multiple threads, but you're taking them to different direction. You wouldn't have multiple ones kind of flowing the same way. They start to fight with each other. But you can strategically, I can't say the word, it's late, and to part them, allowing them to flow to different direction wherever it is. So it's like a game that you play. I like it. It's really good fun. Here, so I might move over there. So I'm following the diagonal line on my pattern keeper, and it's telling me to move slightly over here to smooth out this line, and gradually I'll be able to bring everything back on track, and I'll move up as well when I need to. And 6 is here. Hello 6. Six says, hello everyone. Hello Yogi. Question. I'm looking for longer plus 5 centimeter 2 inches needles with blunt point size 26. I mean needles more than 5 centimeter, like really long ones, but size 26. For 14 count to 18 counts, does anyone know if they exist and where to buy them? I mean, just very long 26, size 26 needles. Anybody knows? I have no idea. And blunt point as well for cross stitching. So maybe the chat can help. Maybe some specialty needles. So I am moving over here. Down here, literally. I am going to pick on this color here. 355. 355. So Rajal just come back from 2 months break, 2 months trip. Oh, when you come back. Yes, I remember you were setting off to India, isn't it, Rajal? How amazing. It's going to be an adventure. And you cut this bit off. It's got a little knot there. And Suzanne says, I haven't stitched much today. I went out for the first time in 2 weeks to help someone at a weaving studio. Oh, right. So you haven't been able to walk. Can you walk right now, Suzanne? So Suzanne had a little bit of a bicycle accident. So it's been swollen really bad and bruised. But hopefully it's getting better. I didn't realize you were housebound. That can't be fun. But it's good to get out a little bit. That's wonderful. Carla Hill says, healing takes time. It does. But the body is smart. The body will find ways to heal, you know, be a little bit patient, particularly, you know, this type of injuries. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. I think these ones are done. Hang on. 1, 2, where am I here? I'm not, I don't think I'm up to date. Oh no, I'm stitching the totally wrong area. Wonderful. Yogi, what a great start. No wonder, I'm thinking the colors, the stitches just don't match. Because sometimes I look up and to look at the chat, when I look down, I just start stitching the totally wrong spot. I'm supposed to be over here. So let's try again. Let me move it over here. And zoom in a little bit as well, so I know where I'm focusing on. So let's pull out another thread here. 355. I have no sense of direction, just in case you don't know. A lot of times, even places I go regularly, if I take a different route, or if I walk on different side of the road, and particularly if I pop in a shop or something and come out, sometimes I literally just walk backwards, not physically backwards, but I just walk back toward where I came from, and wondering what happened, why I can't get to where I was going, and so it's literally the stitching version of that. If I look up, I get disorientated, and when I look down, a lot of times I just start stitching on the wrong spot. So, and personally, I blame my mom. So she had no sense of direction either. So I think I got it from my mom. Suzanne says my leg is still looks like an alien. Alien leg. It's okay, we have an alien club. You can join for now. Lakika is here as well. Hello, welcome. Good to see you. So here, let's have a look. 1, 2. We have another one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to skip another one and have 2 on the right. Okay, I literally have to count. So I don't. So sometimes when I look up, you know, if I'm going to look up the chat like now, I literally just docked my needle there. So when I look down, I know where I was. It's that bad. Rajal says, I'm working on mini O kitchen from Heaven and Earth. It's beautiful piece, beautiful piece. And it's got a little cat at the bottom right as well, as usual. Oh, I see. So Susan, regarding Suzanne's docking board, I thought the paper was stuck, was glued to the surface, but it's even better because she just used a pin to pin the paper down just for the session. So Suzanne, do you keep the needles there or do you clear up the needle just for a session? Because that's another way you could use it. I like to leave them there, but okay, here. I am parking down here. Whoops. Parking down here. Been using a lot of Saga, so I have to kind of remember that I'm using Pattern Keeper. There. We've got another one over here. So I've broken the rule a little bit as I'm stitching because I'm trying to get my head around back on Gemma's method. Normally, if you're purist Emma's stitching method person, then you wouldn't have this stitch here. You literally just, you can park it there or just come down first and maintain that diagonal direction. You wouldn't have any stitches that doesn't have a stitch already on the left. That's pretty much, you know, kind of the rule of thumb, if that can, you know, if that's one. So just look to the left. So every stitch I make, there's already a stitch on the left and the top. That's it. So you're easing away from it without creating floating stitches. But occasionally I cheat. Baduhi, hello, hello. She says, happy Friday. Baduhi, didn't you have a piece that was so close to completion, like 1%? Have you finished it? And then I'm going to part this one up there, literally just one stitch there. Oh, in fact, I can stitch this one because I've got a stitch on top and a stitch on the left. So it is a legal stitch I can make, even though that one on the right shouldn't have been there. And the next one will be diagonally down to the bottom left here. Let me find it. Oh, I love this way of stitching. It's so relaxing. Hang on. There is already one over here part. So in that case, I'm going to park it to the right. So if the next spot you try to park has got another thread there already, the same color, sometimes it happens, you can take the thread to a different direction and plant it there. So that's another strategy there. So over here, I am going to just park it there, ready for me. It's like a game. It's like a game. Hey Joyce, hello Joyce. Welcome. Say hello to Joyce, everyone. Pterodox says it looks, regarding Suzanne's needleboard, she says it looks like a kneeling mat that you would use in a garden. I see. Yeah, it's basically any material that's slightly foamy, you can use it for the same purpose. So there are a lot of, different materials you could use. They're nice and cheap, a lot of them. So to be creative. And the next, let me just check in this area here. There are 2 over there. I think I'm good with, let me just check my diagonal line. So that would be a good indicator where I need to work from there. So 1 purple to the left here. And it's this one. Oh no, it's the one on top. So Raja is leaving this Monday. So by the time you come back, he will literally be very close to Christmas. And would you be able to watch us while you're away? Or do we have to throw you a temporary bye-bye party? Next one here. Let me see if I can find. Right, next one. So next color, so this project is really interesting, other than the fact that it's got back stitches, it also has blend colors. It's got 3 sets of blend colors. So I just dot them at the back here with a symbol so I know what they are. Just double checking. So I am going for this one, this little, got one threaded already. Very handy there. So I'm using my the felt portion of my organizer, similar to the needleboard, but needleboard is even more concentrated. You don't have to flip through anything. But you can use your organizers the same way. Just stick a piece of felt, and you can dot your needles that way as well. So it really depends on how you like to work and what makes sense to you. So I'm going to plant this thread here. Oh, Gemma is back. Gemma is back. Let me see if I have caught it properly. Yeah, it should be okay. And I'm going to dock it. So in theory, if you just started working this way, you probably find your speed significantly slower than usual. Well, compared to cross country, but eventually you will be able to pick up the speed a little bit. I mean, I'm slow at every method anyway, so if I'm slow, it's not because of the method. Maybe it slows it down a little bit, but it's a very methodical way of working. It's very relaxing. But Gemma can do it pretty fast. So literally just one stitch here, there's one color here, 150, 150. Oh, I've got one dot ready here. Maria is here. Hello. Heather House says, you could use the yoga mat for your stitch board, or is it not allowed on Yogi Stream? I think yoga mats may be too sticky because they the texture is a little bit stickier. It's hard to explain. It's not foamy, not very much. It's not supposed to be foamy, yoga mat. Yoga mat is a lot more dense and slightly more squeezy, if that makes sense. So your needles might actually stick in the material. I think. I never tried it. I think much better would be felt-based material or something that's kind of a bit more airy. So, yes, yoga mat. Ouch. Very funny. And Suzanne says, I'm leaving the needles there, but if I'm not going to use that thread anytime soon, I'll take the needles off because I don't have that many needles. I see. Okay. So it's more for kind of per session. And if you need to cycle through the needles, you remove them. Suzanne, just get more needles. Just get more needles. Problem solved. But I think if you tend to do sort of specialty needles, they're quite expensive. So you can't really have like 200 of them like I do. Oh, Maria, did I say hello to you? If not, hello again. If I have, hello again. And Cynthia is here as well. Hi from USA. And Joy says, that use of part threads I call beg, steal, or borrow. Beg is if you take a thread from somewhere. Steal is to snip off a little piece of 1 or 2 stitches. Oh, a little bit just for 1 or 2 stitches. Borrow is take it and place it back. Joyce. Joyce. There you go. That's why she's the cleverest person in the chat always. And you know, she's officially in charge of the naming department of our group. You know, anything that requires naming, we have her, okay? And she can always come up with something really clever. So that's Joyce. I love it. I love it, Joyce. I love that. That's precisely it. Kelly Shaw is here as well. Hello, welcome. Rajal says, I will be able to watch replay because it's different day and night. It would take 2 days to my village. Oh, wow. Yeah, if you can watch replay, that would be great. You can still follow us. It doesn't have to be real time. We'll miss you. But you will be back. You will be back. And maybe join us for the Christmas Soul as well. You know, around that time. And I'm sure you have a great time there. Great time. Here we go. So one stitch here, just a little stitch. This is the method. You just need to trust the process and not to fight it. Here we go, 3363. 3363 is surrendering to the method. And it will flow, hopefully. If it doesn't, that's okay. It's still one stitch at a time. If it's just not for you, then try something else. It's quite okay. It's just like parking is not for everyone. If it's just not for you, then just do something else. And Suzanne says, if you've seen those floor puzzles for babies, it's the same kind of material. Yes, I can visualize that because some, when you say floor puzzle, is not just for babies, because some people use that for flooring, don't they? I kind of considered that at one point, so I know precisely what material you're referring to, because it's quite easy to cut them into different shapes as well. River is asking about this method. She says, does it technically have to have a stitch on the left and top? Yes, I think that's an idea. So generally, we're following diagonal lines here. So very loosely, you can see that's probably a better example there. These two blocks there. So you follow from upper left. I think you can flow from different corners as well, but I've never seen anybody doing that. I've never tried it. For me, it's always upper left downwards, and you loosely follow the line there. So if you do so, literally every single stitch would have at least the stitch on the left and the top, because if you start to move away from that, literally you start to create floating stitches. And so in order to, if you go, I simply don't know where to start, how to stitch, to pick the starting point, just look to the pattern. Anywhere there's got a stitch on the left already, on the top already, it's okay to stitch. And obviously check that general diagonal line. Doesn't have to be super straight. If you look at Gemma's method, even she's now doing slightly different versions. She's doing color flow, so she flows with the color, but majority of her stitches is still pretty much, I would say all of her stitches attach to the stitch area. Nothing is floating. So the spirit of the method is still there with the new method. But I really like the original method a lot. It just feels so orderly. And in terms of where to park, again, look to that invisible diagonal line there and pick the one that's on the, within reason, bottom left, diagonally downwards, and then, or maybe upwards, just following that line. So it's a kind of method. There isn't sort of rules you can just simply lay down and you get it. For instance, if you do block by block, you can go, well, yeah, I just go color complete, whatever order, and then, park or whatever. It's easier to explain. And I think, it's a bit more nuanced for this method. And I think that's why, for some people, they kind of struggle to get a head around. I did as well. In the beginning, as I said, I was watching Gemma's videos, almost like, chess players watching people playing chess. I was trying to predict what her next move is. And she's got an app view on top, and I'm trying to guess, when I get it right, I know I'm heading the right direction. So, but eventually you will get it, because once you get your head around in terms of what you're trying to do, it makes sense. It makes sense and becomes second nature. So that's why Gemma is able to stitch really fast as well. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm generally slow, so it's beyond the method. It's just me. So here, the next stitch is actually over here. So I'm allowed to park slightly further away. The distance is up to you, whatever comfort zone that's kind of applicable to you, but because these ones literally are so loose, far apart. I could just end it, but I'm going to just park it there till I get there. So Suzanne is using ballpoint needles. When you say ballpoint needles, because these are, oh, I see, those ones got a quite little ball on the tip there. So specialty needles, no, those ones you probably can't have 200 of them floating around. It will probably cost a fair bit. And let me look at that one. I want to fix that one as well. So this one, there are 2 rows of them lining together. So I might break the rule slightly and just stitch them. 402. 402. So River, is this giving you an anxiety attack, River? For me, this is kind of normal. Because River is like, we got really worked up with the threads kind of just floating on top and you dot the needles. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. We're all made differently. You know, let's embrace our imperfection and quirks. And River says, I use ballpoints for large blocks of colors. For some reason, the coverage is better. Really? With ballpoint? Interesting. So ballpoints, they look like regular needles, but with a little tiny ball on the tip there. So these are rounded tip. So rounded tips, you know, they're quite common, but the ballpoint one, literally there's a ball on the tip of the needles. And apparently, you know, a lot of people swear by it. Suzanne loves it. Rose, hello Rose. She says, hi you all, hope you're all enjoying your Friday. A little late today, but I'm super busy at work and didn't want to miss the stream. Well done. Yeah, well, hush, hush. We're not gonna tell the boss, okay? Yes, Rose very frequently listen to us or have a sneaky peek of the stream because of the time over where Rose is. It's work time. Oh, but she can come out to play with us over the weekend, which is always good. It makes it even better, right? So these ones, I'm going to break the rule slightly. You know, I was just going on and on about following the diagonal line, but there are literally 2 rows of these stitches here. And I'm instead of just forcing it into diagonal shape, I'm going to just stitch them because all the same colors together. And obviously the disadvantage of that is if I do too much of that, meaning that when I try to take my thread downward diagonally, I might need to cross over some stitch area, because the great thing about this way of stitching is you can take your part thread anywhere. It's very unlikely you need to cross your thread over stitch area like this one, for instance, because I was doing something else in the last session. When I'm working at, this bit, I literally have to come to a hard stop rather than taking my thread over, try to park, or the other way around. I wouldn't be doing that. So it makes the back really tidy as well, without floating threads going everywhere. So it's kind of a, you have to make judgment call as you stitch to see if it's worth it to do what I'm doing now, which is creating a sharp corner here. But I think it should be okay. Should be okay. Alison Rennie says, watched a lot of Gemma's video and her tutorial and just don't get the method. My brain can't follow it. I'll stick to my block and parking, maybe occasional CC. Yes. Well, CC stands for color completion or cross country, whichever. Yeah, I say, Alison, you did really well, gave it a go. Maybe it's not for everyone. That's why there's so few people stitching this method. I just happen to love it. And so if it's not for you, do try something else. No problem at all. The best method is the one you enjoy at that moment in time. And I switch my methods a lot. Totally guilt-free, Some people go, oh, it's like you've broken your own promises to the piece. You're switching method. And not for me. I have no guilt at all when I switch. I have no conscience when it comes to switching methods, okay? I just do it. There. So there's a little corner there. I just broken the rules there, but now I'm going to fix it by blending in this line. So I'll deny all knowledge of creating this sharp corner. You didn't see it. I didn't do it. Joy says, that proves I'm not the smartest person. I cannot do Gemma's method. I just can't get my head around it. Even tried it from top right because I part bottom left, created a beautiful mess. Oh, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Maybe it's something to do. Oh, I have a theory. I have a theory. Listen to me, guys. I think, could it have something to do with being a left brain person and right brain person? I'm very much right brain. I cannot count. I have no idea of time. And that's why I stitch for 3.5 hours every night. And it feels about an hour. So no concept of time. And I have no sense of direction. And anything to do with data, it just flows over my head. Whereas whereas Joyce is a very left brain person, I think. She's technical, she's very data driven, and has a lot of attention to details, which I don't have. This is my bold theory right here, okay? And Alison, you can let me know, do you think you're left brain person or right brain person? We might be cracking, this mystery a little bit, why it makes sense to some people and not the other, the Gemma's method. And I have no idea what Gemma is, left brain or right brain, but I am going to push forward my theory anyway. It sounds good, doesn't it? So here we go. And if you want to debunk it, go ahead. Let's see. Let's have a debate. And oh, Suzanne says, I didn't get Gemma's method either. But it also depends on how many attempts you make. I think my first attempt probably wasn't that great. I can't remember now, but I was determined to do it. So, I kind of come through that way. But Let me just mark this one as well. You know, let's have a intellectual debate about this message. It's like, you know, what the name of that herb? I think America, you call it cilantro, we call it coriander. It's like there's something genetically the way we build. For some people, for me, I love coriander. It's delicious, and for some people, it tastes like soap. And it's because we're made differently. And I don't know why I bring up coriander as my part of my argument to bolster my theory. But I think it's a little bit like that because we're made differently, right? So, you know, discuss. It's my theory. I'm sticking with it. I just discovered the new theory right here regarding Gemma's method. River says, I understand Gemma's method easily, but the concept is of a hey so loser. What? Oh, River, you're talking about me. You're talking about Yogi. Yes, hey so is just like, I can't get my head around. I still don't, River. I know everybody's given up trying to explain that to me. But yeah, but Gemma's method I get. Yeah, hey so is like you know, I don't know, Big Bang Theory. I just can't get my head around. It's like, what? You stitch what? There, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Nikki says, oh, Heather, first of all, Heather says, are you left-handed? No, I'm right-handed. Right-handed. And let's hear about everybody's opinions here. Heather says, Karen Needleback says, there's no rules in cross-stitch, no stitching police. Oh no, there's a different thing. I mean, stitching police is when other people tell you you're supposed to be doing one way or the other. But within stitching methods, of course, there are rules. You know, we like to follow rules. I mean, good rules are structures, aren't they? It's kind of give you a framework to work in. Otherwise, we're lost. That's why we have so many different stitching methods. But I think what Needleberg was referring to, I'm thinking that she's referring to, you know, being told what to do, as in, you know, criticism. And of course that wouldn't make any sense, because why do you care, you know, how other people stitching correctly or not? So Nikki says, I'm right brain and left-handed. I can't understand Gemma's message. Up for debate, Nikki. How do you know you're right brain? What makes you think that you are? I wouldn't be surprised you're a left brain person, from my observation. Because you're very neat. You're very, I'm not saying that, you know, right brain person is naturally has to be messy, but I think right brain person tends to focus on larger picture. So for me, I can retell a story really well to you if you told me, and I can, you know, retell the story quite, you know, maybe, you know, bring up all emotions and, you know, maybe the tone of the story. But if you ask me details, like what date, if there are dates involved in the story, it's totally over my head. This is not how I remember things. So for me, that's more of a right brain person. You focus on larger pictures. But a lot of people will capture really detailed stuff, like, you know, the color of someone's dress or someone like that. For me, it's just it's a dress. That's good enough information for me. So Nikki, I'm not convinced you're a right brain person. You have to convince me. And and Suzanne says it might have been a little bit too chaotic for me. Yeah, but Suzanne, do you park threads? If you don't park at all, yes, it will look chaotic. Let me pick the next color while I speak and listen to your theory. 498, 498, 49. Oh, beautiful red. I don't mind that. A little bit of a red action here. Very nice. And Nikki says, I think it's a fabric count. Maybe 14 count is easier. I would not use this method for anything over 20 counts. I think this method really flows when you can actually, I don't know, it just works better with larger stitches. I have tried it on 25 counts. I was going nowhere. I feel like I'm stitching on the same spot for the eternity. I think it's just the real estate of each stitch. It feels really satisfying with this method when you're feeling that you're moving away, you're creating fabric. 25 counts, it's, you know, it's the stitches are very small, so you can stitch and stitch and stitch. It just felt like you're staying on the same spot. So maybe that's why. I wouldn't use it for you know, smaller stitches, higher fabric count. Let's see if there's some counter arguments trying to debunk my beautiful theory here. And Sarah says it makes sense, but I don't like changing threads that much. It slows me down. So that's a slightly different reason there. So it's not about not understanding the method, it's just the method itself doesn't flow with you. So if you don't like changing threads, yes. If you don't like threading, for instance, yeah, you're probably going to have a nightmare with this method, because with this method you can't really rely on the needle ball that much because you're parking. So Gemma, I believe, she would leave the needles on the part thread while she's working on it. So she might have an area that involves, let's say, the 3 or 4 part threads here, and they alternate from each other, depends on the pattern. She might leave the needles at the base here. Just she called them hot needles. She will leave the needles here and then dot them on a needle miter. And I tried that. Man, I was struggling. I just keep accidentally remove the needles without knowing, because I have a habit of tidying them up like this. So I was going nowhere. They get tangled. But yeah, it worked for it works for Gemma. So but I don't mind threading and unthreading with this method. It just feels like part of what it is, you know. You're creating fabric through constant changing of the needle of the thread. It's nice. It's nice. So here I'm attached to the corner there, going down and park here. So Abney, hello. Oh, Ikko is here in the chat. Ikko of Stitching Well. Yeah, she doesn't like cats, but we like her. Betty Hankins says, yes, I think we can all agree that all our stitches go in the same direction. Oh. Suzanne says, I like cilantro, so maybe. I know it's weird because some people literally cannot eat coriander. It's not even a matter of liking or disliking. It's just physically they cannot tolerate it. It's so weird. Yeah, Suzanne, try it on 14 counts. It's beautiful. I love it on 14 counts. Very satisfying. Joy says, there I go. I hate coriander. So if you like coriander, you can stitch like Gemma. Yes, I know. Maybe that's another element that you're a right brain person. So do all right brain person in the chat like coriander, cilantro? Oh, I can see a beautiful theory forming here. I think we're cracking some sort of mystery over here of human brain. See? This is what happens when you stitch. You solve mysteries of humanity. Who knows? So let's have a look at this color here. Yes, this is a part thread. Literally just one stitch, one stitch. And I might part it downwards or end it. I think I'm going to end it to keep it tidy. So is there anybody in the chat stitching this method from time to time? Maybe not all the time. If that's you, wave your hand. Anybody? I can't be the only one out of the 60 people here. Oh, Suzanne says I park. So it's not the part thread that's bothering you. It just seems chaotic. I can see that because it's very hard to say these are the rules because it depends on the combination with stitches. You have to make different judgment calls. But I think the ground rules would be if there isn't a stitch on the left and there isn't a stitch on the top, you don't stitch. I think that would be a starting point. And Maddie is here as well. Welcome. Nikki says, right brain is creative and absent-minded, prefers fiction, intuitive, using metaphors, humor, and visuals. Hey, you're just describing me right there, Nikki. Oh, so nice. Or is it you? I'll take it. That's a beautiful description of a right brain person. And quite accurate, I think. So Joyce doesn't like coriander. I'm always wondering because it's so delicious. How can anybody not like it? It's mysterious. 3829. 3829. Let me pop it back here. Nikki says I could be both, but tend to lean right brain. But what you have to provide evidence of being right brain though. Whereas me, all the description, all the adjectives you just use there, totally describe me, and I'm sure all of you agree. But what about Nikki? I'm not convinced. I think you're a little bit of a left brain because you're so neat and precise with things. You can just tell from someone stitching. It's like Joyce as well. I mean, her work. I mean, we are pretty much stitching with, you know, the same fabric, the thread, and her piece just come out differently. I don't know. It's a bit like cooking, you know, the same ingredients don't always come out with the same flavors. There's that personal touch, you know. Ebony says, work was crazy and busy today. I'm so glad to relax with you guys. Absolutely, this is the right place. And Ebony, if I remember correctly, you work at a Rio casino, right? That's got to be hectic. Do you get people like drunk in there and then cause problems? Do you have to like manhandle them and pin them against the wall? That'd be exciting. There. 3, 4. I know which ones I'm doing. Rose says, I have learned a few things since I started to watch you, Yogi. I don't know what you're learning, but good luck. Good luck, Rose. Oh, Abney. Abney says coriander tastes like soap. Another lip brainer. Well, I've decided. If you cannot stand coriander, you're probably a techie. That's my theory. Very bold, I know, but that's how we do it. That's how we roll here. We just make bold statements here to get clicks, you know, clickbait style. Oh, Sarah, do you not like cilantro or coriander? It's so delicious. You know, sprinkle a little bit on your stir fries there. Delicious. And I'm going to park it. Where should I park it? I think I'm going to park it down. It's like a strategy game. Very nice. Sisk, is that correct? I always feel like I'm butchering your name. Sisk says, hi Yogi, I use Gemma's method on a whole page of my supersized max color coloring book afternoon. Those stitches were very neat but slow too, and it was on 28 counts. What? Even weave, 1/1 full cross. On 28 counts, you used the Gemma's method for the entire page. And did you need therapy afterwards, Sisk? And how long did it take for you to recover from that experience? 28 counts. I mean, it's doable. I have done it on 25 counts, okay? But I started to get a little bit frustrated. And I think probably just due to the size of stitches, because 14 counts, you feel like you're constantly moving away. You're creating more and more stitch area. You can see it happening. It's much less obvious with smaller counts, like 25. So I was getting kind of impatient. I think that was more of what it was. But in terms of the method, it works. It's the same. You're just easing away. So it's more of a psychological thing. Wow, well done. Would you ever do it again, Sis? That's the question. She said, I'm not doing that again. And Maddie's budget says, I've been trying to figure out how to store my threads neat. Trying bobbins currently, and it's been working, but storage is so expensive. Oh, I think quite a lot of us are moving away from bobbins. It's just a lot of work, labor intensive, and it's harder to, access to the thread quickly. Suzanne says, bingo, which one? Which color? I need proof. And Maria says, usually color complete along movements, or color in an area until my thread runs out and I grab another color. So it sounds like cross country within a certain area. Because color complete meaning that you complete all the stitches of that color, whereas one block or page. And whereas cross country is when you kind of run out of a thread and you stop, or you run out of stitches. Oh, bingo for the right brain comment. Are you right brain? So you're right brain. So you should be able to stitch Gemma's method. Prove it. Nikki says, I like coriander and cilantro. They are the same thing, darling Nikki. Tomato, okay? Yes, I know. Joyce, during COVID, I was bored out of my head. So I did 23andMe. So I did that DNA test. Within the DNA or whatever it is they test, they can physically tell you whether you like coriander or not. So it's built in our body. It's a physical thing. It's not psychological. It's not liking or disliking. Our taste buds are built differently. Joyce, you and I. You're alien. I'm just normal. That's what it is. Let me pick the next thread here. There. I'm going to do another one. Literally, this color is moving down, vertically down, one stitch at a time. So some patience is required. Just do one stitch and part down. And I can't keep stitching down because there's an empty stitch on the left here. So I'm going to literally just do one stitch and then park on the stitch below. This is how you do it. Gemma's method. And if it is doing your head in, please complain to Gemma, okay? I'm just a messenger. It's not me. It's Gemma, okay? Send your complaint over there. Ashley Wilkinson, hello. Abini says, Yogi, your imagination is running wild. Precisely. It proves that I'm the right brain person. See? I have imagination. Some people don't, Let me see. Let me come back to this one. Introduce another 355. 355. I'm running low on this one. I need to top it up very soon. And Sis says, I think Gemma's method works better on ADA counts and more with regular charts. The 240 colors were very difficult, and they were all different pencils. I think you're right there. I think you're right there. So if you think about this piece, it's got all the 14 count kits that I've got here. They've got about 40 colors, so not huge amount of confetti. There's some, but you know, it's nothing like heaven and earth confetti. And also, if you look at Gemma's what Gemma's stitching, the pieces I know so far, she's doing regular colors, and some other ones they're not heaven and earth. I presume probably not max color kind of situation there. So yes, I think if 240 colors is probably a bit much. I haven't tried it. The one I tried with this method, 25 counts, was the Grandmom's Loft or something like that. Amy Stewart is 90 colors. But even then, probably because of the size of the stitches, I just struggle. I just lost patience there. But with 14, it flows really well. Nice and bold here. Let me move this one down here. So I have to make a decision on where to take my threads here. I might move it up and pocket on top. See, I'm gradually creating that diagonal shape, and eventually it will all look nice and diagonal again. And that's the satisfaction when you're able to smooth out these lines. It's therapeutic. You don't need to see your therapist, you just do this. Nikki says, I have no sense of direction. My husband can tell me turn left, I go the opposite way. You and me both, Nikki. I know. You know, Google Map now has a really critical function, where is when you not just showing you the map but the direction you're facing. There's a prior version before that feature came out. I can look at the map, you can show me the map all you want and tell me that I'm here and now go to point B. I'll just go somewhere totally random because I don't know which way I'm facing, and I'm not able to orient myself using a map. Just as it is. But since that feature, you know, the compass feature came out, it saves my life, because otherwise I'm probably still lost somewhere out there in London or somewhere further and can't, you know, just can't find my way back. It was a life-saving feature. It makes all the difference. All the difference. And now I'm going to take this one down here and move up and see how it goes. Oh, Alison says, regarding being left brain or right brain, she says, I like things to be organized. I work in oil and gas as an equipment coordinator. Left brain. Okay, before I read any further, Alison, you're left brain. So, so need to make sure things are done correctly with lots of lists, etc. So I need to be organized. And Alison, did you say you couldn't work Gemma's method? Or the other way around? I can't remember. Yes, if I need to go back to your comment below, above. If you're saying that you have trouble with Gemma's method, then it strengthened my theory right there. Oh, you left-brainers. Seriously? And let me move it up there. The 2 stitches up there. I'm just starting to build this diagonal line there. Leslie says, I'm trying to think if I'm left or right brain, but all I come up with, I wonder if Gemma likes coriander. Oh, we can take a guess and we can go and ask her. Do you like cilantro? Hello, babe. Oh, my Dolly is here. It's Dolly time. If you don't know who Dolly is, let me show you. This is my Dolly. Let me just go over her, over there to comfort her. Otherwise, she's going to complain. She's going to send complaint letters to me later on. Official complainer. Hello. Maybe we can show a little bit of. Oh no, she wouldn't. She doesn't want to play. I want to show you her little paws. So cute. And so a Dolly time. Okay. Now she's happy. She's happier. Travis here in the chat. Hello, welcome. Haven't seen you for a few days. Hope you're well and baby's well. A lady friend is well. Let me dock it over here. In fact, I'm going to stitch this one. It's a little bit unusual because I'm trying to smooth out the little situation I created from the last session. So there's slightly less conventional kind of move here, a little more controversial, but we'll fix it. And then I'm going to dock it over here. Okay, so there's some floating stitches I created from the last session. Michelle Fuller is here. Hello, Michelle. So quite a few stitches of this color here. Suzanne says, funny thing, when Alex was little, she used to get really angry if we went down the wrong direction in the car. He has such a good sense of direction. You're kidding me. So Alex actually know you're going the wrong direction. He gets mad. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? It's this way. Oh, I need an Alex in my life because my partner is just as clueless as me, and we routinely just get lost, both of us, and we'll be debating. You know, I think this is the right direction, and he will go that way. Even with Google Map, we still manage to get lost. Would you believe it? You know, how many yoga teachers does it take? And just to find directions, probably more than two in our case, because it's not working right now. Aniki says, remember when the TomTom navigator will start with ghost sounds of the parking lot? Oh, what does that mean? TomTom is for cars, isn't it? I'm clueless. I don't drive. I ride bicycles. But those, you know, those systems, it used to sort of guide people into ditches. because they're not most up to date. I think it's better now because of the whole Google Map and satellite and everything. But it used to just, they don't always they're not always up to date with constructions or road situations, and they literally lead you toward, I don't know, a big sinkhole if you're not careful. Alison, I cannot do Gemma's method, so you have strengthened my theory right there. Left brainers cannot do Gemma, okay? I think it makes sense, okay? Because I think left brainers, they need clear instructions because they probably rely on data a little bit more. Whereas this method, you can't really explain it fully. There are some rules there, but it's not like, cross country, you just do this, color completion, you just complete all the colors. It's very cut and dry, very clear. But this is like, you have to make judgment calls here and there. It's all fluffy and a little bit woo-woo, and I think that's why, for me, it makes sense because I go with general directions. But if you need very precise rules, then yeah, this method is gonna look like, air stitching. You just go, yeah, maybe you do this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Travis is talking about a baby. She's adorable. It's a baby girl, isn't it? But don't forget to pay compliments to the lady friend as well. You don't want a lady friend to feel neglected. A little tip for Travis. Susan says, I love stitching sky. You tell that to Steve, okay? Tell him how much he likes the sky, stitching sky. But he's doing well. He's doing well. If I see a piece of pattern, design with a lot of sky, I'll walk the other way. It doesn't matter how beautiful it is. I don't care. I can't do it. There's no chance. A lot of sky or ocean, that kind of thing. Oh, bye-bye. Better you than me. How refreshing. There's so many stitches of the same color. I'm flying here. Oh, Suzanne says, we traveled a lot growing up, and my job was a map reader. Oh my. Yeah, no one will ever give me that job. We'll be very lost for a very long time. I am going to stitch this one because it's a little bit unusual kind of situation here. And I'm going to do that one over here as well, just to patch it up. And then end this thread, I think. Let me take a little sip of my tea. Oh, Nikki says Google Map killed a man recently, drove off a cliff. What? I mean, the guy didn't see the cliff coming. Dear, oh dear. Have you heard about those driverless, Elon Musk type of cars like autopilot? And literally, there are people using the feature. Very, very brave. I know there's one thing to have it. There's quite another to make that judgment call and go, well, I'm gonna just, not drive, but just sit in the car, doze away, and just to let the car drive me. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. And there have been accidents as well, or fatalities. Hardly surprising. Sarah says, in our small town, if someone asks for directions, it would be something like this. Turn left, that old man's Johnson's red fence, and go past the house with a big oak tree. That sounds good. Yeah, I remember there's a friend of mine. We're supposed to meet up in Hyde Park, or is it Kensington Park? I can't remember. And so there's a group of us trying to find her, and so we ask, she was somewhere in the park. So we go, hey, tell us where you are. Just give us, some sort of landmark or something recognizable. And she goes, yeah, I'm under a tree. I ask her, in a park, she's under a tree, and we're supposed to find her. And in the end, we never found her. And up to this day, I don't know what happened to her. No, I'm kidding. We found her. We found her. But yeah, she just goes, yeah, I'm under a tree. That's very helpful. Thank you. River says, oh, she's so pretty, Yogi. Oh, the kitty. Yes. Yes, Dolly is so pretty. Dolly, and she knows it. She knows it. So she knows she's got me, and I'll do anything. So she's very spoiled. Very spoiled. Sarah says, if you got the field with 3 cows, you've gone too far. So the 3 cows are permanently there in the same position. Okay, okay. Sounds like a horror film to me. No. So Nikki's saying the person's family is suing Google. I would say they probably go nowhere, because I'm sure as you sign up to a Google account, there are probably tons and tons and tons. We're talking hundreds of disclaimers they've included, and no one ever reads them. And I'm sure it probably covers something like, if you accidentally use Google Map and drive over a cliff, we're not responsible. So don't you worry. They probably, unfortunately, will be going nowhere. I hope they have some sort of insurance, though. That's probably a better bet for them to get some, support. So Sisk is saying, I have the same, I don't know what she's referring to, but she says, I can't do a lot of same color block stitching too. It's too boring. So it's according to my brain. Well, you and me both, sis. I cannot do, you know, we sometimes find color changes kind of challenging, but the same challenges are there as well when there's kind of just endless you know, block of black or same colors or white, even worse. My goodness, it's not, I don't think it's a left brain or right brain. I think it's just human brain. We can't do it. We can't do it. But have you seen, if you're following Gemma, there's another side there. She is stitching, like, I think it's some sort of computer game based, is it Zelda? It's got like the color bits, quite colorful center. Okay, there's a centerpieces there, but the surroundings literally acres and acres of black. And she's been stitching that for like months now, when she's not stitching her main dish. And I just cannot imagine, probably 310. She's probably got about 5 combs of 310 going on there. And I just cannot imagine, you know, choosing a pattern that's got that amount of the same color. It doesn't have to be black, you know, any other, you know, colors. I'll probably go, no, yeah, it's very nice, but no, thank you. No, I think it's human brain, left or right. I think we can't do it. Suzanne says, while chatting and stitching, I've done 336 stitches because there's so much sky. It's kind of mindless. I like it. I remember Suzanne says she liked the border of the Kim's piece as well, which is rather shocking because I'm trying to leave that not till the last, but just dip in and out, you know. So I try to find methods that allows me to do that. But man, I am going to introduce another 355. It's just that kind of evening. A lot of 355 tonight. Lakika says, I have been convinced I'm giving parking another try for 1 page. Oh, what convinced you then? Is it my beautiful parking method that's convinced you? Or something else? And Joey says, stitching when there are stitches above and left makes sense, but not to stitch when there a little gap does not make sense. Maybe it's a matter of logic. I think it's about creating minimum, or rather the other way around, to create maximum space with each stitch. So imagine if you do something like this, you know, when you have 1 stitch over here, by the time you stitch the 2nd stitch here, you're boxed in. So it's about trying to minimize the boxing situation pretty much completely, because if you keep moving this way, if you look at particularly Gemma's earlier way of stitching, literally every single stitch you have 2 sides open. So it's very kind of, you almost never need to, you know, jam your needles in, try to stitch something that's boxed in like this, you know, like that one. I mean, you know, if you do cross country, you probably don't mind it, and now I don't. But it's very nice to stitch, to create a stitch when there are 2 sides open. So it's a nice experience. It's a nice experience. I like it, and you can pretty much be sure that this will never happen. This kind of situation never ever happens in Gemma stitching situation, because even if you do block by block color completion, at some point you're going to run into single stitch here and there. Even within the small space, you have to, you know, fill in before you can move on. This method, you never ever have this. Zero chance. So that's the beauty of it. But if you don't care, then, you know, it doesn't matter. Nikki says, I would get a self-driving car and cross stitch. So Nikki's constant theme is about, doesn't matter where she is, she wants to, you know, keep stitching. Like if she gets arrested, you know, with smuggling a DMC floss and get locked up, as long as she can stitch, she doesn't mind it. You know, it's okay. It's prison, but I can just, you know, and she will probably continue to smuggle more crafting accessories into her prison cell. And the prison sentence just keep extending longer and longer, but she's happy. She's just like, you know, I can stitch. Oh, Joy says Dolly looks like she modeled for Disney Aristocrat. I know that tuxedo, little Dolly here. Look at and looking toward the distance. You know, she was posing for me. She knew I was taking a photo, so she goes, "No, I'm going to just look into distance, like I'm, you know, dreaming about something like a nice cat food or something." And I have my tuxedo, you know. And have you noticed that there's a little dot under her chin? That's her trademark. Little Dolly with a dot under the chin. So there you go. Tonight's Dolly's night. Sisk says, when I have one color as background, I will crop it as far as I can or don't stitch it. Well, maybe you and Ebony as well. That's Ebony's strategy. If there's a border, well, no problem. I just crop it. If there's a kitty, yeah, just crop it as well. It's problem solved. I get it. That's one way of doing it. Sarah says, I like stitching block colors. But Sarah, then again, you're alien, you see. You know, you're very unique in that sense. And another thing Gemma does, so this is a good example. She does the Danish one leg at a time stitches as well whenever she can. And for instance, now I've got a whole row of stitches here, but I would like to take the thread back this end when I end. Then very often I do a one leg at a time Danish method as well. It's quite handy if you need, you know, to take your thread to a certain direction when you finish, because at this point, if I keep stitching full cross to the right, I'm gonna have to take that thread and float under the fabric to the left for my next parking spot. I can do that. That's not a problem. It's not a deal breaker. But a more elegant way of doing is doing one leg at a time, the other leg back, so I'm back to where I started. So there you go. A beautiful ending circle of stitching. I know, Nikki. Nikki says, I love stitching until my thread runs out. I know. And your thread is like 5 meters long. Okay. I've seen your one color completion with Sweet Shop. That's probably single thread, right? From beginning to the end. You basically just pull the entire comb there out and just keep stitching with that single thread non-stop. Travis says, I've been picking one color and stitching all 6 strands of the thread before switching to a new color. Oh, so you're doing, how can we call it then? Picking one color and stitch all 6 strands. So it's not color completion necessarily. So you're not doing a full color complete, and it's not a regular long cross country either, because normally with cross country you just allow the thread to run out, single strand or whatever, double strand, and then pick another color. So we need to give a name to Travis' method. Joyce, I look to you, the captain of the naming department here. So Travis here is keep stitching of the single color till the 6 strands run out. So how many strands do you stitch? Is it 2? 2 strands. So basically 3 runs, and then switch to the other color. We need a name for this method. It's a new method born. To down here. Let me have a look. I can do this one as well. And then I'm going to park it over here. There. Six pack, yes, Joy. I love it. And I bet Travis loves it as well. It's a 6 pack, super size and 6 packs. Your project is huge, Travis. Really, really big. And you're using 6 pack method. Oh my God. Oh, it's all worked out beautifully. And Travis has also been doing loop start. You use 1 with loop start. Okay, so you fold it in 2. Okay, so 2 strand, but you do a loop start. But what is your ending method of choice? I'm curious to know. Do you tuck it at the back? Because I know you do hand sewing. Or do you do a tuck in? I wonder. 6 pack, that's what you're doing. Joy's never let me down. Suzanne says, I think this is what makes me want to try this method, because I really don't like ninja stitches. Yes, I think it's a pain point for a lot of stitches. But because you just feel like you have to go back and tidy things up. Like, you know, you can't just move forward. There. 1 stitch there. Joy says, I don't mind stitching boxed in stitches as long as they're not too far from unstitched area. Too far from unstitched area. Well, it really, but you don't really have control over it. Well, if you tackle like you do, probably a small area at a time, so it's a bit more manageable. But imagine if you're doing what Nikki's doing, crazy cross country, right, for miles and miles, eventually you're going to run into a lot of stitches. You have to go back literally with a search party to find them. And it's painful. And I know that because I try to do that with this page above, with the page above this one. I actually did a page wide cross country color completion using markup IXP clumsily, going from minimum to maximum. But I can't really blame Markup RXP for it because, you know, as I said, this pattern has a lot of markings for back stitches, and that kind of obscure quite a lot of the symbols underneath. So the app is not able to pick up those stitches. So it turned out the calculation for those stitches are not correct. So some stitches are missed. So as I complete it, which is kind of quite fun to do, and quite fast as well, even for me. But at the end, my God, I think I probably spend more time trying to fill up all the empty stitches later on than stitching the entire piece. Literally, I nearly gave up on that page because I said, well, this is no fun. Why am I doing this? So, but I think with Saga it's probably a little bit better. If you can do it accurately, you know, then maybe you can do a minimum to maximum, then you'll be fine. But color, you know, color completion or cross country, a lot of times you have, you know, you run into stitches like this everywhere. Rose says, LC complete for length of color complete. For length of color complete. Oh, very clever, Rose. And Travis, regarding the ending method, I flip the canvas and tuck it through 3 to 4 stitches. Okay, so you can do that more easily because you're doing a hand sewing. And Travis posted a picture of what I do on the bag. Oh, we'll have a look then. Whoops. Yes, Travis stitching a Pokemon epic Pokemon piece there. Acres and acres. Right. Let me just zoom out a little bit, see what it looks like right now, and decide where to go next. So now I'm creating a slight sort of art shape with this. So this is from the last session. So, and on the left side, I'm trying to smooth it out a little bit. So I've done a little bit of work under here. So now perhaps I will move up a little bit and start to smooth out this corner here. Try to hide the evidence from the last session when I broke the rule and start, you know, cross country. There we go. It's very nice, and I'm really looking forward to the back stitches. Back stitches here. So when I was using Markup RXP, literally this is where the page border is. And that's why there's a kind of a hard stop, because in order to, I wasn't able to just flip back and forth with these 2 areas and create smooth sort of lines there. But now with Pattern Keeper, I can, you know, so I basically just forget about page borders altogether. What a freedom. And now I'm going to patch up this little stitch there and hide it, so you won't know that it's ever there, ever. So this is a 3371. Oh, it's very dark. 3371. 3371. It's brown actually. Joy says, yes, I do that, especially with Saga. I do lots of one color. Hang on. I do a lot of one color because it's faster than filling patches to prevent unicorn sneeze. Unicorn sneeze, yes, it's confetti, basically. Oh, what a beautiful way of describing the sneeze of a unicorn. And maybe the unicorns need to try to sneeze a little bit less frequently. Alison is asking, Yogi, on markup, did you never view all pages and link the views? You can see all the pages together and do not have to have the solid end line. Yes, yes, there is the full pattern view. That is true, but probably I've never really tried that. I think I have actually. So with this pattern, for instance, I scan the paper pattern, so it's pretty sluggish when I move the patterns around. There's always a slight delay there, and I believe even with digital patterns, it's still sluggish. There's a slight delay there, just a slight delay there. And if I ever switch to full view of the full pattern, everything's ground to a halt, pretty much. It becomes very, very sluggish to use, close to impossible, and it's just no fun. So yes, you're quite right. There's a full view. Technically, you can just lose the boundary of the pages, but it will be very impossible to use. So I can show you right here, actually. I've got my markup XP, and you can tell me whether that's happening on your device as well. But I've tried it both with my with the scanned pattern, and also heaven and earth pattern as well. Let me just find my markup IXP, because I want to be fair to the app. I don't want to knock it. If it's good, I'll say it's good. It's got pretty powerful importing ability for the, let me just bring up my granny's craft room pattern. It's got very powerful ability to scan and pick up paper patterns if you have a good picture, but at the same time, the ground level operation, just the regular marking, moving the pattern, etc. So let me bring up, so this is my let me just move this light away here. So this is my markup RXP version of this pattern. Okay, so let me just bring up, so you can see there's a delay. I'm moving the pattern over there, it's not doing it. It's very sluggish. This is not a video, this is literally the real speed of this patterns moving on my device. And with Pattern Keeper, I have no problem. This is quite a basic model of Amazon Fire. But with Pattern Keeper, it works perfectly, very responsive. Whereas this, so if now it's one page, you can see even just moving, zoom in and out, there's a slight delay there. And if I ever go to full chart view, then good luck. Okay, full chart view here, you could. In theory, I'm here. But you can tell there's a lot of glitches happening. There's weird color transitions here. And if I ever do that, then I just do not trust it. It takes a long time to even try to zoom in. And some stitches are not being picked up because it's scanned. Okay, so this is not the app's fault. So this is why I have to live with. And so I almost never do full view here. Just make things a tiny bit quicker. And as you can see, this is a scan view. You can see a lot of lines here. These are back stitches, so it covers up certain symbols down there, the app is just not able to pick up. So it's the patterns issue, it's not markups issue. But now, because it's a digital pattern, it clears up all the back stitches. So it's a lot easier. And let me show you the difference here with Pattern Keeper. So you can see the speed, this pattern's moving, right? So it's like really jumpy. And if I ever go to this one here, let me just bring up my granny's. It's like this. Nice. Look at that. And I can zoom all the way out. It's real, almost real time. There's very little delay here. So this is the quality of life I'm talking about. It's a very different deal. That's why I felt free. I felt free. Nikki says, I live in the unicorn sneeze. You're drowned in a unicorn sneeze, Nikki. But you love it, I know. You just love it. And Abony says, oh my God, I cannot use markup. It's so laggy. Yes, totally. And, you know, because initially I thought maybe because it's a scan paper pattern. And I tried it with Heaven and Earth, the PDFs. Same thing. For some reason, you know, markup as an app kind of ignores the fact that it's PDFs, because PDFs is kind of dynamically generated. You know, when you zoom in, it withdraws everything real time. So everything's supposed to be nice and sharp. But markup, for some reason, maybe Joyce, who is very technical, maybe you can shed some light. They're almost treating the PDFs as a picture. So it's treating it goes blurry and laggy. So it's a puzzle. I don't know how they process the PDF. It kind of defeats the purpose of being a PDF. So I'm not knocking the app. It's just a fair criticism because I pay them subscription. I want my money's worth, you know. The very basic quality of life kind of, you know, requirements here as a user. So I'm not asking for bells and whistles. I'm just saying, can you just be snappy and not laggy, you know? I think it's quite fair, quite fair. So 3371, 3371. And they will have to be quite careful here because, you know, if they're known to be laggy, you don't want to have your users use your app because they have no other choice. I think a lot of people use markup because they're on iOS and they can't get the Saga or don't even know Saga exists, right? So they think markup is the only option. You don't want to be on the market, be someone's last choice. You really don't. So you want to be ahead. You want people to want you, to need you, you know? Rather than going, oh, I have no choice, so let me use markup. Alison says, mine definitely not that glitchy. I also have paper pattern scan. That could be, that would bug me too. And maybe you have a higher spec of tablet, but then again, Pattern Keeper works perfectly with this model, with this device. So, you know, you just compare them together, you go, nah. Travis says, I just got off the phone and came back hearing about unicorn sneeze. Yes. That's precisely it. With your piece, you probably don't have a lot of unicorn sneeze, I'm thinking. You're probably free from having to tidy up unicorn sneezes. River says, I purchased markup and had it about an hour and got a refund. That app is ridiculous. I know. To be honest, when I first learned from them, maybe from Needlebug, I can't remember, and she was raving about it. So at that time, I hadn't got my Android device. I was trying to decide, whether I should get a device just to use Pattern Keeper. So I did a little bit of research and I tried it and I tried markup. I wasn't overly impressed, but I thought, well, if I don't want to buy a Android tablet, I'm overall an Apple user, then, the markup is the only option. And also, the reason I subscribe to it still is purely for these patterns, these 14 counts paper patterns. And I want to be able to, use an app to track them. And that's the only reason. I do not have any other patterns from Heaven and Earth or PDF ones on there. So it's kind of my last resort for paper patterns here. 498, 498. Another beautiful red. So I am, you have to subscribe to the app annually as well. You have to pay. You can't pay monthly. You have to commit to an entire year. So my subscription is not running out till December, I think. But from there on, there'll be no more markup in my life. And I'll try not to get paper only patterns as much as I can help it. And I think, to be honest, I just think that, you need to give people a digital alternative. I know some patterns, they're still sold in paper form, but I think it's okay with maybe samplers because, technically it's not too bad, even if you use a piece of paper for those, or just take a picture, I can just use some highlighters to do that. But with full coverage, you just can't. You need, the digital option. And Travis says regarding his piece, the Pokemon piece, he says there's a lot of confetti, especially in the eyes of the Pokemon. Really? It's probably a small area. How big are those eyes? Size of, I don't know. I can't imagine them being huge, sort of. Because the style is quite sort of cartoony, isn't it? So if it's cartoony, there's probably less sort of color transitions. It's just the nature of things. Abney says, I don't like subscription apps that don't even fix bugs. Never mind, they aren't actively updating and progressing. I totally agree with you, Abney, because I don't mind paying for subscription. For instance, I'm paying for a subscription of Adobe Suite, the entire suite, but they make constant improvements, updates, contents, everything for, as part of the subscription. That's what subscription means. It doesn't mean you just pay the same app over and over and over again, year in and year out. You're absolutely right. So that's the problem, I think. So, even though I stayed with them till this point because of the paper pattern, but that's the issue is whenever people have other options, they're going to run so fast. So you can't keep your customers there because they have no choice. You're absolutely right. They don't improve. I cannot remember the last update or improvement. I cannot. And, I've had them for maybe a couple of years. And this is the problem for markup right now. Maybe they just lost the momentum to improve. They just go, well, let's see how long we can kind of just get people to subscribe. And maybe we do a little bit if they really complain. I mean, when I first came across the app, I wrote to the developer about the parking, not parking method, the steps you have to take in order to park. And I goes, anyone who understands, stitching will know parking is an important part of a markup app. So I went to them and I go, well, because the parking capabilities there is just very hard to use. So I said, well, can you just make something like, pattern keeper, just assign like a gesture or something, double tap or whatever. It shouldn't be that hard. And make it easier to park. And I explained, if you have used markup trying to park, I mean, you're probably tearing your hair out. And it was this was probably more than 2 years ago. And the developers responded really quickly, kudos to them. And he said, yes, it's on the menu. It's on our to-do list. And this is about 2.5 years later. Nothing happened. And I would have thought something like that would be a really quick win. Having worked in technology, it shouldn't be hard to do, I cannot imagine. If it's hard, they're not very good at it. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it. So, Andrea, hello. She says, most of my Dominic Davison's from hate is confetti. I have confetti nightmares, not sweet dreams. Can you have confetti sweet dreams? Like unicorn dreams. How's that? Joyce, do you like that? Unicorn dreams. And she says, especially since I have supersized max color, the trees give me nightmares. Trees. Yeah, trees and sky or snow landscape. Oh my goodness. It sent chills down my spine just thinking about it. Man. But when you chose the pattern, you probably surrender to the fact that you're going to have unicorn sweet dreams from time to time or the entire time. Sisk says, I had issues with page overlapping in Pattern Keeper 2 with one of my long dog samplers. I had to frog a long page. Oh, could it be when you overlapping is quite rare unless you assign overlapping to it when you import the page? Because there's a choice of some patterns, they have the grayed out 3 rows or whatever. Could it be the case? Yes. Suzanne says, I think the problems with the long dog samplers and Pattern Keeper is the pattern itself. That's possible too, because samplers, I don't know, do they make effort to make it compatible with pattern keepers? Because, quite a lot of people probably stick with paper patterns and they're okay with it because just the nature of the type of patterns. Hey, Brandy says, hi, oh, I'm finally here. Indeed, you're here. I can see you. You can see us. So Sarah says she hasn't got a problem with long dogs. in Pattern Keepers. Yeah, I think the question would be whether you need to specify whether the overlaps, because sometimes I have imported patterns that have no overlaps, but I kind of just assign them by mistakes. So, then they remove 3 rows. I think the good policy is to check the stitch count. I never used to do that, but now I've learned it's always check the overall stitch count, see if it's correct, because it will tell you whether there's some overlapping elements. Let's see what's next. Oh, I see another one of 355. 355 is popular tonight because of this area. It's a 355 area. River River says I've got to go, but this is the emoji buffet. Oh, thank you, River. And my guess is 167. Oh, someone jot that down. Maybe River is going to be the winner tonight. And for those of you who are new to the chat or the stream, we play Guess My Stitches at the end of every stream. You get to guess. Yes, lucky you. You get to guess how many stitches I've done for this session from the beginning. And the winner, who's got the number that's closest to the correct one, would enjoy the respect of all your fellow stitchers, and also get to enjoy the emoji buffet, as you see there, the array of beautiful snacks, and get to share those with me as well, even though I'll be eating most of them, but I'll give you a little bit, okay, to taste. So you get to play the game with us. So River's parting gift is 167 and some delicious snacks. Thank you, River. Let's see where I am. There. So I'm here. And I can't find it. Oh, I've got it already. Have I? 1, 2, 3, 2. I know where it is. And there. Here. It's getting a little bit disorientated there. Travis says, my paper pattern is one giant sheet folded up. Every time I complete 10 by 10 square, I put an X through it with a marker. Oh, right. So you're working with paper patterns as well. But Travis, you're not working block by block, are you? Because I've seen your work. You've got a little bit of a cross country going on there. So how do you keep track of where you are? I am going to move it up here. 1, 2, 3 here. Just mark them. 3 and 2. Trying to find my way here. One, 2, another row here. Oh, I see. I missed this one. And now I can park it here. Good. So I've smoothed out that line a little bit here. Andrea, are you a paper pattern person? She says, to Travis, I printed off all 152 pages in letter size and use highlighter to mark them off. So you do have a digital version, but you print it off on physical papers. Wow. Suzanne says it looks like I'm getting into bird's wing in the sky. Oh, so you're stitching sky, but you run into some birds. Isn't that exciting? Rather than just sky. Just the sky. My goodness. Now, this one over here. Oh, wonderful. Beautiful orange here. And Travis says, I do try to complete the 100th stitch square 10 by 10, but sometimes the thread leads me to a different direction. I remember you were doing a little bit of typewriting, weren't you? You were doing a little bit of typewriting, deranged typewriting going on there. Deranged Pokemon. Three stitches here, and I think I may take this thread up here and do this little stitch here. I might end the thread here because it's getting a little bit short. Oh, Sarah is trying to enable everyone. Sarah says, did you see the new bird and roses pattern on Hade? I put it on my wish list. It's not like have shortage of temptations there, and they keep putting out new patterns there. You know, it's a never-ending cycle. Suzanne says, I'm trying not to look at the website right now. Well, you can try, but it doesn't mean you will succeed. You probably want to have a little look and secretly put it in your wish list. Ah, so Travis says, I do have to refer to the paper pattern because some of the symbols on the canvas are blurred and look like other symbols. Are they not printed clearly? I always wonder about stamp kits. Are they printed precisely on the, you know, within the square of the grid, within the grid? And whether they're clear. Just going back to Andrea's reply there, she says, I don't use Pattern Keeper markup. I use paper patterns, no computer or tablet. You're hardcore, Andrea. You're kind of the opposite of me. I'm doing my best not to involve any physical paper whatsoever. And Busy Mom says, I also use markup RXP because I only have Apple product. Apple product girl. Me too, Busy Mom. But I'm glad I got an Android device just for Pattern Keeper. It's a totally different experience. So, but if you're happy with, you know, markup right now, then that's fine. That's fine. Maddie says, mind you, cross stitch saga is good, but it's a shame they don't add PDF to the options. It's frustrating, surely not that hard. Yeah, I'm wondering that too, because I talked about this before. I did a bit of research when I was trying to get a saga to work, and I came across comments in sort of Reddit and places. They're as old as 5 years old. People asking, you know, kind of thinking whether Saga is going to incorporate PDF format. And there's some people going, oh, well, I'm going to just wait out until they do it. They should do it soon. And lo and behold, 5 years later, it's not happening. So I don't know whether there's some technical reason they don't do that, or they're just happy kind of stay where they are. You know that the company for creating this kit, it's called Max Stitch. Max Stitch. I can't remember. I should know. Oh, Max Stitch Design. Okay, so this company, they've been really helpful because I said to them, you know, some of my viewers, a lot of you actually asking for this pattern, and also the other one, the which one's that? This one as well, stationery. Let me bring up. So I've got this one, and I've got stationery. Let me find it. So those two, I regularly getting asked by you, not this one, markup, full markup here. People ask about this pattern, and also this pattern. Okay, and I can't point you anywhere up to this point because I don't know where to get them, because they used to be on Amazon and now they're not. And it turned out they're still being sold. Kits like this are being sold via their own website. But the thing is, currently this one I'm stitching now, they're not there yet, but they're telling me they could be available at some point. And I really love the way they chart it, because I think there are other websites, they've charted this particular artwork, but without back stitching, and also maybe a little bit smaller. And this one is quite substantial, you know, this very well charted, as you can see all the details here, and this is before the back stitching. And so I asked them, well, are you going to have this one available again? And they're not saying no to it. They haven't confirmed it, but maybe this one and maybe the other one I've just shown there will be available via their site as well. And they're saying that maybe, because I told them that I stitch your kits on my little channel here from time to time, and they were really happy about it. And they're telling me that, with the file format, I told them about Saga and Pattern Keeper, and they've been quite helpful. They're asking me, is there anything we can do with our pattern so it will work for your apps, those apps that you're using? And I did mention Saga, and they actually looked into it, and because Saga, for us, we need to have the dot dies format converting from PDF. But also, if you're a chart maker, you have special software for creating charts. You can create other formats. Saga accepts as well. I think there's one called V something, V5. I think they gave it a go using their own software. I mean, this company here. But their software only allow them to convert it to V4. I can't remember. I have to go back to the email. So they have tried to look into it. So potentially their patterns will be fully compatible to Saga by default. Who knows? Maybe they're able to provide a version as well. So I'm feeling very positive about it. If they can put this kit out again, I think a lot of people will be very happy, because I get asked a lot about this one and also the other one. So if they can make it available and kit it up again, and also provide digital version that's compatible to Pattern Keeper in PDF, and also the other one for Saga, wouldn't that be beautiful? Directly in sort of V4, whatever format that is. So that could be coming. So that's very exciting. Suzanne says some printed kit patterns are better quality than other ones. Yes, I think it's a little bit of a minefield, because sometimes they put out kind of illustrations of the not real markup, like illustration. It looks really pretty. And then you look at the chart, it just doesn't stitch the same way. So normally it takes a little bit of a research to see some, if there are some stitched examples, then you kind of get to see what the quality of the charting is. And Ebony says it depends on the company that makes the stamp kits, the quality. I know, because I always wonder, because some of them are really, really big. With stamp kits, I'm always wondering about how well they're charted, because you can't really tell. And also how well the stamps are made. It looks interesting, and Travis is enjoying it. So, but I haven't tried it. Travis said mine must have fallen through quality control. I ordered it off a website called Tapestry Market. Wow, but it's a leap of faith, because it's such a big project and you're ordering from a company that you're not familiar with. Imagine if you get it and it's rubbish, right? Joy says, I'm now using the auto selection option, probably referring to Saga. She says, now I'm using auto selection option by the number within a user defined area. I like it. When you say number, do you mean the from 1 to whatever rather than thread number? Ha. The DMC numbers come up with different amount of stitches. Very frustrating. I'm not quite understand it. So normally we follow DMC numbers, right? Oh, not DMC numbers, the number of stitches. So when you say followed by number, yeah, I have to go and look at Suzanne's videos. I haven't got a chance to watch properly. I think Suzanne put out some sort of number index tutorial on our group. Oh yeah, Suzanne says also backstitch you can use Saga for that. It's awesome. Yes, if the Saga if Saga can sort of import the pattern correctly with back stitches, it's just wonderful, isn't it? Because you can hide the back stitches until you need them. Oh, can you imagine? Technology, beautiful. And Ebony says, I've seen some that look great for a company called a Stamp Stitch Club or something like that. Yes, I think it's a good practice. Probably look at some stitched work, just to because through that you can tell, you know, if it's kind of charted properly. Can imagine it must be upsetting if you stitch and stitch and stitch, and it just comes up rubbish. Like, you know, you don't have all the details, or it just looks nothing like the mock-up. Oh, I'd be gutted. I'm going to break the rule a little bit and stitch this one. I know there isn't one on the left here, but I have good reason of doing so. Let's go. Suzanne says Mona Lisa is another stamp kit brand that's really good quality. Okay, that's good to know. I think the reason I haven't tried stamp kits so far is mostly I haven't come across a pattern I like. Some of them look slightly iffy, you know, kind of not very attractive, but very, very big. So I don't know what the deal is. I think if I come across one I really like, I'll probably give it a go. But I think the pattern comes first. Take a sip of my, oh, maybe a sip of the cold coffee. Controversial. Oh, delicious, delicious. Cold coffee, so good. Betty says, I've seen those from Painted Fairy and they look great. I think they're very aggressive with their advertising because they're all over Facebook and all over Instagram as well. They're everywhere. And I know those our Japanese floss tuber friends, they all have one of those, you know, like a metal frame ones. All of them have switched those. I don't know what's happening. It's sort of everybody's using them. Alison says to Joyce, she says, this is what I'm doing too. So nice mixing up all the stitch numbers. Breaks up the confetti. Oh, I need to know more about it. I haven't quite fully understood what Joyce just said. And Joyce says, next color is presented in order of, oh, so you follow DMC numbers. Is that a good way of doing it? Sounds interesting. What's the advantage of doing that? Because it's kind of just following DMC numbers that doesn't really, it's a bit arbitrary, kind of. Because if you go from minimum number of stitches to max, there's a reason for it. But DMC numbers are just DMC numbers. Explain to me. I need to know because I want to try it if it's good. If it's good, I'll steal it and I'll do it live here on Yogi Stream. Um, let's have a look. Oh, everybody's raving about painted fairy. Right. Let's have a look. Let's do some of these ones over here. How about that one? No, I want to do this one. And Suzanne says, from what I understand, Painting Fairy Company just recently started selling outside of China. Yeah, I think it's a Chinese company, isn't it? And she says, I think that's why they're pushing it quite aggressively. Yes, but I think it's the balance of adverts. You don't want to annoy people because they just keep popping up like everywhere. You're gonna go, whoa, what are you doing? Leave me alone. I'm sure the product's probably good because all the Japanese floss tuber friends of ours, they all seem to be switching to those frames. So I'm not knocking them, not at all. I've never used anything from them, so I don't know. Oh, Alison says, I have the sofa frame. What is a sofa frame? It's a type of frame. Um, she says, I have the sofa frame from Painting Fairy. Jury is still out. Do you not like it yet? Or have you started using it? What does it look like? Sofa frame. Is there something you can prop on the sofa? Janelle says, I have those frames as well. They keep the tension good. Yeah, I think that's the selling point for them. They kind of go a lot. I do like that. If it keeps the tension, but it just seems a little bit of work to put the fabric on. It's almost like it's not something we can do too frequently. I just get that impression. Oh, Travis wants one as well. Oh, positive reviews from everyone. Um, Vadu, he says, I'm making good progress on River Cottage. Wonderful. Christian's love for stitching is here. Hello. Let's have a look. Let's pick another one. I think this one might be good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Whoops. One stitch here. Now I can fill in this little lone stitch over here. Oh, now I'm feeling a little bit better. Whoops. Oops, just lost my thread there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 here. Janelle says it's easy to put the fabric on, referring to those frames, metal frames. Well, I hope so. Otherwise, it will be a little bit of a pain on the backside if we need to switch projects. I imagine it's probably not something that you can get one for each project. But what about those? Oh, explain to me. Those frames, those of you who have those frames. What if the width of the fabric exceeds the width of the frame? You know what I mean? Because most of our projects are huge, and unless you get like massive frame, really, really wide, which you probably don't want to do, what do you do with the fabric on the sides there? Because the top and bottom you can roll under those bars, but what about the sides? What do you do if it's wider than the width, than the frame? Night, busy mom. Busy mom is heading out for some dinner. Enjoy your dinner. Yes, tomorrow Amy Stewart Day. See you there. Yes. It's a good reminder for everyone. Tomorrow, Saturday. Every Saturday is Amy Stewart Day. But Joyce, regarding your method, you say it breaks up confetti. And every time you kick the bucket, it's a surprise what amount of stitches next. Oh. Another pro is less floss card flipping. Oh, very good point. Or it depends. Maybe it jumps from 35 to 3899. I don't know. But Joyce, tell me, if you follow the DMC number, right? Do you not end up with a lot of ninja stitches at the end? Because you can't control that. It could happen, right? So it's similar to any order of color completion within the area. Wouldn't you end up with, you know, little stitches there, peeking out there, waiting for you to annoy you? Happening, me too. Happening says, I've seen them whacking the fabric with different items to show attention. I know, that's why I was looking at them. They do that every single time. It's like compulsive watching. Because I like my fabric quite tight, so I'm just like very drawn to that action there. I thought, oh, that's good tension there happening. I know. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. That's really funny. I know. They use some sort of instrument. Just hit the fabric like it's a bad girl. I'm gonna hit you. until you behave. I am going to move it up here. Joyce Night Night, well done. And don't forget tomorrow's Amy Day. You know where to find me. And Betty Lou Taylor says, Kamari just had a video showing her loading an SSMC, as in supersize max color. It didn't take her much time at all to load. Oh, I must have a watch. Yes, I do follow Kamari, but I haven't watched recent videos. Has she finished The Flower Girl? Did she finish that piece? Because she was stitching a, I don't know if it's the same piece here, the mushroom thingy, the magic mushroom from Amy Stewart. But yeah, I'd love to know, how do you get the size to sort of stay in place? Because you know, if you're doing super size, you can't possibly get a frame that's that wide. That'd be insane. That's the entire room. Turtle Stitcher, where have you been, darling? And Serena, night night, well done. Serena is off to bed. Same time zone as Joyce, I think. So nighty night, Serena. And welcome, Turtle Stitcher. Oh, so Ebony says the width of the frame needs to be the width of the piece. But it's not really possible, because some widths are, you know, for instance, my Gecko Rouge piece, it's the size of a duvet. I can't possibly get a frame that wide. I wouldn't be able to get in the room. Seriously. I'll be hitting my cats on a regular basis, just moving the frame. That's not ideal. Because most of the examples I've seen, the pictures, because they're in my face, not that I want to look, they're all smaller pieces, kind of manageable size, you know. But so that kind of made me wonder, you probably can't really use them for huge projects. And Betty says, from what I've seen of the frames, they're expensive, too expensive for me. I don't think they're cheap. No, I don't think. And that's why, for me, that wouldn't be practical, because I literally need at least 10 of them. Otherwise, I'll be constantly swapping them in and out. That'd be tedious. I'm happy with my wooden frames, you know, even though I break them. But recently, I haven't broken one for the last week. Round of applause for Yogi, yeah. No, no hoops have been harmed for the last week's stitching. I don't know about the next week, but I do my best. Janelle says, I got a big frame. The only thing is heavy. Yes, I can imagine. How big is big, though? Yeah, if it's too big, it's not practical. You know, you probably need to dedicate an entire room the size of a bicycle. Each frame. That's not ideal. So Janelle, are you referring to the following the DMC method? Really? Suddenly, that's the method right now. I must try it. If it's good, I will try. So follow the DMC number, is it? So it's like a surprise, like a lucky dip. You never know what you're gonna get. Like a box of chocolate or something like that. Some sort of delicious snack. 2 over here. 1, 2. here. And this one, why not? Happening. You're quite right. I know all the power yoga and heavy lifting I've been doing. Ebony says, Yogi, with your super strengths, you will break them too, referring to the metal frame. I know. That's my fear. That's the problem of doing too much power yoga. You just break everything. But and particularly if they're expensive, then that wouldn't be cost effective. I'll need a full-time job just to afford those frames, because I break them on a regular basis because I'm just that strong. Huh? Janelle says, work sideways on the piece. What? I've seen some stuff really puzzling. I've seen people turning the pattern vertically, like rotate them 45 degree, and then stitch them. The ones I've seen, stitching from the right to the left and looking at the pattern kind of different from the different rotation. Is it just me? Because I thought maybe they just put a picture in the wrong orientation, but then I look at the path threads, they're kind of parked to the left. Have you seen those? It's just one of those mysteries. Stitching mysteries. I don't know, these people, they're just doing things to confuse us, or me rather. Why would you stitch that way? I don't know. I'm so confused. Ebony says, I can finally join in on Amy Day. I have to pack for my holiday, then I can stitch. No work tomorrow. Yay! Absolutely. Happiness says, but when they're whacking this fabric, I'm not convinced they're hitting it hard enough. But then you probably break the frame if you try to, stretch them too tight, or maybe break the fabric. I don't know. Things could happen unexpectedly. But I do enjoy watching them whacking the fabric. I go, oh, that sounds good. Every time when I see whips, people showing whips, and if the fabric is slightly loose, I just have this overwhelming sort of desire to just like stretch it out for them. Oh. These two here, 1, 2, okay, that one is done. And there's one over there. This one is not done. Ooh, what is going on here? Okay, I know where I am. There. Sarah, thank you for your support. Betty says, Kamari is still working on Flower Girl. The Merry Mushroom Village was loaded on the frame. I thought that might be that. I don't know what happened to that piece. She just stopped working on that one, and suddenly she was working on Flower Girl. So I didn't think it was finished because it wasn't that long that she was stitching it. And Betty says her life today was her working on Merry Mushroom. Also, the frames can be bought on various sizes. I know there are different sizes. It's just that it's not very practical to have a large one if you need a large one in order to stitch large projects. But in Komori's situation, she's very single-minded with a project. Most of the time, she only stitched on one project at a given time for a quite long period. So I think she's a good candidate to use those type of frames. You know, she probably only needs one and just occasionally swap projects if she needs to. But for people like me, I don't know. I'll be very busy just swapping frames. Night night, Albany. Oh, she says, I'm off to sleep now. Thank you for another lovely chat. Night night, guys. Yes, very sensible. It is 11, 11:30. Albany's in the UK as well. It's 11:30 after all. In the UK. Very sensible. Good night, Albany. Joy says, oh, Joyce is going strong tonight. You know, she's still with us. She's still with us. Good girl. Maybe you get to play Guess My Stitches tonight, finally. And Joy says, using auto selection in Saga like TomTom or driverless car. Utterly ruthless. And take control before you run off a cliff. Oh, so you come to a sudden stop before you fall off the cliff. It's like Russian roulette. I see. I can see the attraction there. Yes, I might give it a go. And Suzanne says, I was watching yesterday and they had their fabric too loose and it was driving me crazy. I know, Suzanne, I go nuts. If I just want to tell them, just pull it a little bit tighter, you know. It drives me nuts when they stitch and it goes up and down like this. And Komori used to do that. I think now she's got that super frame. Super duper metal frame, maybe that fixes it. She used to just put her stitch it like fabric up and down. I just go, darling, you're stitching really fast, so something's working, but that fabric needs some work there. Just pull it a little bit tighter. Oh, it drives me nuts. Yes. Suzanne says, takes time to switch hoops. Yes, but I can afford to have more hoops. So I can, you know, particularly I break them. So I need to top it up from time to time. So I can have, you know, probably more hoops than I can have frames. So I don't have to switch as frequently. So, Turtle Stitcher says, you need a bigger house, Yogi. One room for each project. What am I doing? Am I building supercomputer back in the 70s or something? You know, when a household computer, is the size of a room, apparently. Imagine that. And the size of the hard drive. Well, this hard drive probably have to be another room next door. So, but we have moved on from that. And Suzanne says, finish my 500 stitches rotation so I can work on Pride and Prejudice only tomorrow. Yay! 500! Suzanne, well done. And, oh, that I don't know that, Komari. Is she connected to Hate? Right, let's have a look. Let me pick one more color. It is 11:30, close to 11:40 after all. I'm feeling good. But I think, to be sensible, I have classes tomorrow as well. So I'm going to pick one more color. So you get to play Guess My Stitches. Hold on, Joyce there. Wait for me. I'm going to do maybe just one more color there. So you get to play Guess My Stitches. Okay, I want to see how Joyce fares with her super brain and ability to count without counting. I want to know, maybe, can she be the winner tonight? You know, okay, I have 4 stitches to go. So here we go. And I'm going to break the rules because otherwise, technically, I can only stitch 1. But I want to stitch 4 or 4 here. So I'm going to skip 1 stitch and do the remaining 4 here. And the last one, a beautiful ending to today's session. And then I'm going to park it down here. There. Here we go. So, let's have a look. Let's see what's happening today. And you don't really know what's happening until you zoom out. So, I think today we're coming closer to create the drawer at the bottom. Because so far it's been going this way. And there's a little bit of this going on there, but this bit was missing, so you couldn't appreciate the full view there. But now, look at this. Let me zoom out a little bit more here. So, it's taking shape. I'm really happy. And, you know, the following sessions, I'll start to smooth out this bit. And before you know it, we're back to beautiful diagonal, okay? I can see some numbers flowing in. Some of you are very confident with your choices. All right. So everyone, you get to guess how many stitches I made today, okay? This is not easy because it's all over the place and it's designed to do so to make it challenging for you. So let's have a look. We've got a turtle stitcher 204. Nikki says 95. Andrea 291. Look at that. That's confidence. Suzanne 160. Sarah 179. Brandy 77. And Maddie 220. Okay. Around the 200 mark, up and down there. Alison 239. Janelle 180. Rajal 190, Susan 225, and Melin 115, Michelle Fuller 179, Travis 145, Betty 184, Sisk 160. Guys, you have a few more seconds for your submission. Otherwise, I'm going to reveal today's stitches, okay? And Sarah, don't forget River 165. Yes, hold that number for me. So I am going to show you the percentage first, just to tease you, okay? Can you see that? It's 10.16. So not too bad there. And then for today's grand total, I have stitched 114. A little bit less than I thought, but there you go. 114 stitches right here in front of your eyes. And here we go. Joyce didn't submit anything. She's too scared. She ran away. And so who's the winner here? So we've got, let me review, 116. 115, Marilyn. Anyone got 116? I think today's winner may be Marilyn. Yeah, 115. That's in 1 stitch away. Amazing. Marilyn, yes. So bring on, well, of course, we need to show our respect for Marilyn and me, of course. I'm just begging for attention here. And bring on our beautiful emoji buffet right here. I think we have a little bit of starter over there, but we can do more. So Marilyn can share at least one cake from me. Okay, I'll give you a slice of pizza or something. Oh, we've got some yummy treats from Nikki. A lot of lollipops and some sort of thingy, dumplings thingy, and popcorn. Beautiful. And Marilyn, you can take like one item there, okay? Because I need a rest. Oh my God, turtle stitcher. That's one big buffet over there. That's almost the entire, buffet's got different corners, right? That's a whole dessert corner there. And Marilyn, you've got a trophy from Sarah as well. And Janelle, can you explain the bone? What's that doggy bone? Thank you, Sarah. I've got trophies as well. Thank you so much. And so thank you for being with me here today. All the ones standing with me to the last moment here of the stream. Well done, you. I am so proud of you. And a round of applause to all of you, and dig in to that emoji buffet. That's for all of us. All of us. So from here, 11:44 in sleepy London town, Yogi signing out. Enjoy the buffet, everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow, Amy Day. Okay, get your arm with your Amy Stewart piece. We will meet here again. Nighty night, everyone. Night night.